What is up, guys? Heath with Lake Champlain Sanitation here, and on today's video I've got Nick with me. He is in the camera today, not behind the camera. He's going to be asking me 5 questions. We are going to do like a 5 questions in 5 to 6 minutes rapid fire round of your guys' questions straight from the YouTube comments. Pretty much the best Q&A idea we could come up with at the time. So let's start.
Alright, so question 1. From S7B7NFIV5 on YouTube. He says, I want to get into the debris removal business. Is it worth financing a dump trailer? I have a potential client ready as a side gig. Thanks in advance.
Alright, financing the dump trailer, real quick and sweet. If you have a client ready to go, I would want to elaborate more on if this is going to be a recurring client or if this is just a one-time job. If so, how much is the job worth before you go finance the piece of equipment. But if you have a client that's going to be paying you reoccurring income, in a perfect world, this reoccurring income or revenue would at least cover the payment on the piece of equipment plus your dump fees. I say that is a good move to make if that is the case. If it's a one-time client, I may search for a couple more people to help make that payment.
Cool. Yep. And another question about financing from Joe Burns. He said, great video. Curious about how you finance your trucks. I know you've talked about it on the channel a little bit. And he said, or if you do, he's just going through the process himself right now.
For sure. So, yep, I did finance everything in the beginning. The only truck that I was actually able to outright pay cash for from the dealership was the 2018 Silverado 2500 I have right now. As for the financing of the trucks, I did use local banks in the beginning, and I would put at least the sales tax down on the truck, plus a few grand if possible. The only truck that I financed through a bigger company, which I financed it through Western Equipment, was the compactor truck. And what I would do is I would try to get the payment to where I was comfortable, where I could make that payment even in the slower season. Still to this day, I get nervous sometimes about just making the one compactor payment that we have. But it is risky, but if you are going to finance a truck, I would pick a payment that you're comfortable with and don't finance it until you can put enough money down to get there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So we got another here from Zane. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. Zane Rohrbacher. He said, so if you want to add a few houses in between your current customers, like what's your process for that? And I know we've actually talked a little bit the last few days about marketing, knocking on doors, and so yeah, he's just wanting to know how do you market your business in between the clients that you already have.
That's a good question, Zane, and yeah, I did actually give you a short answer this morning. I think I replied back to that one, so this one's fresh. We are going to do more of an old school marketing technique only in the neighborhoods where we're already saturated. We are not going to be going door to door if there's a certain amount of space between customers. That part we haven't completely figured out yet, but if there's a neighborhood where there's 40 homes and we're already servicing 12 of them, we're going to try to at least get another 8 to 10 homes in there and have 50% market share in that area. And I think that because we're so fast, the truck's in and out, it's not like we're landscaping there for a long time and they see the mower trailer or something like a landscaper would. We are going to have to send guys, I think Tyler, myself, even Nick maybe. Nick is coming up with some flyers right now. We go door to door and we try to provide, a good service offering to them in these tight-knit neighborhoods.
Gotcha, awesome. And another question here, which I think you might address, or you replied to him at least, from Nico. Just one of the questions he had was, what do you charge, or do you charge to put recycling bins at houses that have your trash service or at bigger places like schools or churches?
Yep, good question. Recycling in our area has been a big challenge. We are trying to roll a recycling program out. I've actually got a meeting next week with someone to hopefully help us with this. We do not do any commercial as of the making of this video, but with recycling bins and such, we will be charging. We did in the past. Now that we're at scale, our recycling is limited, but we're trying to come out with a good recycling option, which will. We don't even have the pricing completely in stone yet because, like I said, I have a meeting coming up. In theory, what we'd like to do is charge a fair rate for the recycling and almost make it 2 separate businesses where you get the recycling service or the trash service, or you just do trash only and it's a separate rate. So, yeah, good question.
So to end it, I got a question of my own, if
Okay.
you don't mind.
That's
here.
good. Yeah.
So if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, he's kind of story, growing the business and stuff like that. And I know you came from corrections. How much of a relief, or how good did it feel once you finally got into the dumpster business and had that different lifestyle? And you still had to run your own business. That's a challenge in itself. But I know you came from corrections. How like was that transition? Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it really great?
Yeah, and that's a good question. And I personally living it was kind of like a dream come true when I could actually pay my bills with the income only of the dumpster business. So, like I've said in some of the videos, guys, I did not cold turkey quit the corrections gig. So I went from corrections. I had the Taylor rental gig part time. So that's one thing that I think would have been a lot scarier had I not been completely ready to pay my bills yet and just jumped out of corrections. I probably wouldn't have had such a smooth transition, be it, because I still had the part-time income coming in, and that was also the only reason I could finance the trucks. But from a relief standpoint, the corrections in general will stick on that one job instead of everything else right now. I was not happy at all. The money was decent. The benefits were great. You get great health insurance. You get decent time off. I was working 217s back to back, and then I would have 4 days off. So that was a good schedule. But when you were there and on that third day off, fourth day off, knowing you had to go back in there after sleeping in your bed, and I was working night shift from afternoons, huge relief. And it was more of a relief leaving my job to do the business, but just getting out of corrections because of how unhappy I was at the time, and I feel for everybody in there. I got a lot of friends that are in there. It's a tough job, and that being said, anyone in law enforcement, I have a ton of respect for you guys that are doing it out there, and I have a lot of friends that are in it, state troopers, customs, border patrol, all that. A lot of respect for you guys. It wasn't really for me, but I do know a lot of them also that I've talked to across the country that are doing this as a side hustle, so hats off to you guys. I hope that was a long-winded answer for you.
No, yeah, I expected it to be. That was great. I think probably wraps up today's
All right,
Q&A.
guys. That's 5. Like I said, these are going to be short and sweet videos. Make sure you guys leave comments on any of your videos. We're going to be choosing these at random. These comments specifically came from one of our most recent videos, but we're going to start trying to get a lot of different questions answered in this live format for you guys to hopefully help you out a little bit more. So, as always, guys, if you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.